Most Java developers don't get rejected because they don't know Java. They get rejected because their answer exposes one thing. They have worked on Java projects, but they don't understand how real Java application works. And hiring managers catch this very quickly. So in this video, I will share 5 things that can instantly create a negative impression in a Java interview. And if you are preparing for Java, Spring Boot or backend Java developer interviews, don't skip this. Because even one of these mistakes can make the interviewer think this candidate is not production ready. So let's start with the first one, not understanding internal working. So this is one of the biggest reason experienced Java developer get rejected. Many candidates know how to use things, but they don't know how those things actually work. And interviewers can identify this very quickly. For example, if interviewer asks how does HashMap work internally, many developer answer it stores key value pair. That is true, but that is not what the interviewer is actually looking for. The stronger answer would include concepts like hashing, bucket, collision handling, equals and hash code, resizing and rehashing. Now you sound like someone who understands Java internal. So let's take another example. If the interviewer asks what is the difference between string, string builder and string buffer, many candidates answered like string is immutable, string buffer is mutable, string buffer is thread safe. That is correct, but it is still incomplete. A strong developer can explain why string is immutable. Now let's take some example from Spring Boot. If the interviewer asks how does dependency injection works, many candidates say that Spring automatically injects the bean. But internally, Spring first scan classes, create beans definition, store them inside the IOC container, then it create objects, then it resolve dependencies, and then inject them where required. So let's take another Spring question. For example, how does transactional annotation work? Many developer will say that it manages transaction. But internally, Spring creates a proxy around your bean. The proxy starts a transaction before method execution. If execution succeeds, the transaction is committed. If an exception occurs, the transaction is rolled back. The interviewer is not testing whether you can use a feature. The interviewer is testing whether you understand the machinery behind it. Because production issues can happen inside the machinery, not inside the annotation or syntax. And this applies everywhere. HashMap, concurrent HashMap, Java streams, garbage collection, thread pools, Spring Beans, dependency injection, transaction, auto configuration, Hibernate, Kafka, caching. Everywhere. If your answer stops at the surface level, you look like someone who follows tutorial. If you understand the internals, you look like someone who can solve production problems. And that is exactly the kind of developer hiring manager wants. Let's take the Spring question again. How does the transactional annotation work? So many developers will say that it manages transactions, but internally it creates a proxy object around your bean. The proxy starts a transaction before the method execution, and if execution succeeds, the transaction is committed. If the exception occurs, the transaction is rolled back. And by the way guys, questions like these like HashMap internals, concurrent HashMap, string pool, garbage collection, Spring Bean lifecycle, transaction annotation, dependency injection, Kafka microservices and many other interview topics with the details explanations with the details interview questions are already covered inside my interview preparation kit. So if you are serious about clearing Java interviews and if you want answers that go beyond textbook definitions, check it out. Now coming to the point. We are discussing about transaction annotation. So notice the pattern. The interviewer is not testing whether you use a feature. The interviewer is testing whether you understand the machinery behind it. Okay. Now let's move to the second mistake. Giving theoretical answer instead of real project answers. This mistake destroy a lot of interviews, especially for the developers with 3 years, 5 years or 8 years of experience. The interviewer asks, tell me about a challenge you faced, and the candidate start explaining the definition, or they start talking about generic concepts from YouTube videos. That is not what the interviewer wants. The interviewer wants proof that you have actually worked on real systems. For example, suppose the interviewer asks, how did you improve application performance? A weak answer sounds like we use caching to improve performance. Okay, but where? Why? What was slow? What cache? What was the result? Now compare it with this. In one of our Spring Boot services, we had multiple database calls happening for a single request. Response time was around 4 to 5 seconds. After analyzing the logs, we found repeated reads for the same reference data. So we introduced Redis caching for those records. As a result, database calls reduced significantly and response time dropped below 1 second. Notice the difference. The second answer sounds like real experience because it includes the problem, the investigation, the solution, the outcome, everything. And hiring managers don't want textbook developers. They want developers who can solve problems. So whenever you answer an interview question, Try to structure it like this: what was the problem, how did you identify it, what solution did you implement, and what was the result. Because real project stories are far more convincing than perfect theoretical definition. And when candidates keep giving those theoretical answers, many interviewers assumes one thing: they have studied the technology, but they have not actually worked deeply with it. That assumption alone can cost you the interview. All right, so let's move to the next mistake: not understanding database fundamentals. This is where many Java developers get exposed because they spent year writing Spring Boot code but never learn what is happening in the database. And eventually, a interviewer asks, what is index, what is N+1 problem, what is the difference between join and fetch, and what happens when a query becomes slow. And suddenly the interview becomes uncomfortable. So here is the reality: most backend performance problems are not caused by Java, they are caused by databases. For example, imagine your API takes 8 seconds to respond. Many developers immediately start looking at the Java code, adding logs, checking threads, reviewing services. After investigation, you discover one SQL query is doing the full table scan of millions of records. The real issue was database, not Java. And that is why strong Java developers understand indexes, joins, transactions, logs, isolation levels, execution plans, and common ORM problems like N+1 query. So a hiring manager knows something important: if you don't understand the databases, you won't be able to diagnose half of the production issues you will face. Because in real systems, Java and the database are not separate, they work together. And if you only understand one side, your troubleshooting abilities become very limited. So when an interviewer asks about database question, don't think I'm applying for a Java role. Why they are asking SQL question? They are asking because backend development is not just Java. It's Java plus database plus system behavior and many other things as well. And developers who ignore the database often get rejected before the interview even reaches advanced topics. Now let's move to the next mistake, which is unable to explain your own project. This one frustrates hiring manager more than almost anything else, because if you have spent years working on your project, you should able to explain it cleanly. Yet many candidates say things like, I have worked on microservices, I fixed bugs, I handled API, I worked on enhancement. That is not the explanation, that is a job description. Now imagine the interviewer asks, what does your application actually do? And the candidate struggle for a 5 minute trying to explain it. At that moment, the interviewer start doubting everything else. Because if you can't explain your own project, how will you explain a production issue? How will you explain a design decision? How will you communicate with clients or team members? So a strong answer sounds very different. For example, our application receives customer onboarding requests from multiple channels. The request first goes through validation. After that, the data is stored in PostgreSQL. Finally, an event is published to Kafka so other services can process it asynchronously. In a few sentences, the interviewer now understands what was the system does, who uses it, how data flows, which technologies are involved. Your role becomes clear immediately. This is exactly what hiring managers wants, not a list of technologies, a clear story. Before every interview, you should be able to explain the business problem, the system flow, the architecture, the major component, your contribution, the biggest challenge you solved. If you cannot explain these confidently, even good technical knowledge may not save the interview, because interviewers trust demonstrated experience more than memorized answers. Now, mistake number 5 is trying to fake knowledge. This is probably the fastest way to get rejected, because experienced hiring managers, they can detect it within minutes. And here's how it usually happens: the interviewer asks a question, the candidate doesn't know the answer, which is completely fine. Nobody knows everything, but instead of admitting it, they start guessing. They use buzzwords, they throw random technical terms together, they keep talking and talking, hoping someone sounds correct. And that is exactly when the interviewer realizes this candidate is trying to fake it. For example, the interviewer asks, how does Kafka guarantee message ordering? The candidate has never worked on Kafka, but instead of saying that, they have start talking about microservices, load balancing, REST APIs, and distributed system, none of which answer the question. A much stronger response would be, I haven't worked deeply on Kafka ordering, so I don't want to guess. But based on my understanding, ordering is generally maintained with a partition. I would need to explore the implementation details further. The answer earned respect, because honesty is easier to trust than confident nonsense. Good interviewers are not looking for perfect candidates. They are looking for reliable engineers, and reliable engineers knows the difference between I know this, I partially know this, I don't know this. The moment you start pretending, trust disappears. And once trust disappears, it is very difficult to recover in an interview. So let's quickly recap 5 mistakes that are instantly hurt your chances in a Java interview. So number 1, using annotation without understanding what is happening internally. Number 2, giving theoretical answer instead of real project stories. Number 3, ignoring database fundamentals. Number 4, being unable to explain your own project cleanly. And number 5, trying to fake knowledge instead of being honest. And if you avoid these 5 mistakes, you have already performed better than large percentage of candidates, because most interview failures are not caused by difficult interviews, they are caused by weak fundamentals, poor communication, and lack of depth. And if you are preparing for Java, Spring Boot, microservices, system design, SQL, Kafka, HR round, project explanation, real interview questions, check out my interview preparation kit. It contains practical interview answer, project explanation templates, commonly asked questions with the companies, and real world concept explained in a way that easy to remember during interviews. The link in the description. And if you found this video useful, subscribe for more Java interview content. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.